Let me tell you, you didn't need more discipline. You need more love. Everyone keeps telling that the reason you are not where you want to be is because you didn't have enough discipline. Wake up early, push harder, stop being lazy, work more, grind more, force yourself, but listen carefully. Discipline is not the only answer. Most of the time, you didn't need more discipline, you need more love. Think about it. You didn't wake up late because you're broken. You wake up late because deep down, you didn't believe you deserve a life worth waking up for. You didn't sabotage your goals because you're weak. You sabotaged them because you didn't feel worthy of success. You didn't quit because you lack discipline. You quit because you lack love for yourself. Imagine this, at the end of the life, people didn't want to see their trophies, their bank accounts, or their resumes. They ask for the people they love. They just want to be one more time with them. That is proof. Love has always been the center. You didn't stick to your habits because you hate yourself. You stick because you honor yourself. You didn't build consistency through punishment. You built it through compassion. You didn't grow by rejecting who you were. You grew by loving who you were. You didn't transform by erasing the old you. You transformed by honoring every version of yourself that got you here. Discipline might shape your actions, but self-love shape your identity. Because when you act only from discipline, you are consistently trying to become someone else. The more you practice from the place of pressure, the harder it gets. The more you force, the more you want to hide. And hiding your true self never heal you. Why? Because every time you hide, you send yourself this message: who I really am isn't enough. And that lie eats at you. Yes, you can fake habits, you can fake discipline, you can even fake confidence. But you can't fake wholeness. The mask gets heavy, the pretending drains you, and no amount of discipline can cover the pain of abandoning yourself. But when you stop hiding, when you choose to love yourself enough to show up as you really are, flaws, scars, and perfections and all, something shifts. You stop performing, you stop chasing, you stop running from your own reflection, because love doesn't demand a mask. Love doesn't ask you to prove yourself. Love allows you to be yourself. And here's the truth. You will never build a life you love while rejecting the person who has to live it. And that is why love gives you purpose to your pain. Because when you push yourself from a place of love, the struggle, it's no longer meaningless. You are not running away from who you are. You are just moving toward who you are becoming. Let's be honest, love doesn't erase the hard parts. But at least it makes them worth it. And here's what I realized. You didn't hate yourself into change. You love yourself into growth. The parts of you that you are ashamed of, they didn't need more punishment. They need more compassion. The dreams you have abandoned, they didn't need more pressure. They need more belief. Believe that you can do it. Believe that you are capable. Believing that if you fail 100 times, you can stand up 101. Because believing is what makes you motivated. It is what makes you alive. Believing is what it gives you power to try again. Believing is what carries you when everything else tells you to quit. Let me tell you, pressure crushes you, belief, it lifts you. And when you choose to believe in yourself, not just once, over and over again, those abandoned dreams, they start feeling impossible. They start feeling inevitable. Discipline is about control, but love is about connection. You didn't need more control over yourself. You need a deeper connection with yourself. Because when you truly connect with who you are, when you see yourself not a project to fix, but a person to care for, the habits, the growth, the consistency, they all becomes natural. That is the true connection that creates alignment. And at the end, alignment creates ease. So the question is not how I can discipline myself more. The real question is, how can I connect it to myself more deeply today? Because when you are connected to yourself, you no longer fight yourself. And when you stop fighting yourself, you finally feel free. And here's the problem with discipline without love. When you have no self-love, discipline turns into punishment. And that is the reason why people cannot stay for a long period of time disciplined. Because punishment never lasts. You can force yourself to grind for a while, but eventually you will see you will snap. You will burn out. And then you blame yourself all over again. Push, break, shame, and repeat. All of these sounds familiar to all of us. But love works differently. Love is patient. Love is forgiving. Love says, even if I fail, I will rise again because I'll matter. Self-love is not weakness, it is fuel. When you love yourself, you eat better, not to punish your body, but to nourish it. When you love yourself, you rest, not because you're lazy, but because you deserve peace. When you love yourself, you go after your dreams, not to prove your worth, but because you already know you're worthy. You already know that you deserve more. You already know where you are standing now is not where you need to be. That is the difference. Discipline says, do it or you will be a failure, but love says, do it because you are worthy of it. Discipline is a fake identity of yourself and it never lasts. Because you cannot live for a long period of time with a fake identity. A fake identity can burn us out. But love grows. The more you give it, the more you can grow it. The more unstoppable you become because you honor your own identity. So stop asking for more discipline. Start asking yourself how I can love myself better today. Because when you love yourself enough, you didn't need to drag yourself out of bed. You didn't need to force yourself to eat well. You didn't need to beg yourself to chase your dreams. Love will carry you, love will sustain you, love will transform you. At the end of the day, discipline may get you started, but only love makes you unstoppable. Only love makes you to go further. Only love gives you peace. You don't need to be harder on yourself. You just need to be kinder. Because real change does not come from pressure, it only comes from love. And maybe the most important part of all, learn how to love yourself more. Not in a cliche way, but in action. Spend more time with yourself, be present with your own thoughts, treat yourself like you would do a close friend, with patience, with kindness, with forgiveness. And also here's the truth, if you speak the same way that you would do with yourself, with your friends, guys, at the end of the day you won't have any. Why keep abandoning yourself? The relationship you built with yourself will set the tone for every other relationships in your life. When you love yourself deeply, you will stop settling. You will stop betraying yourself. You will stop from running who you are. And when that happens, you will realize you were never unworthy. You were only unloved by the one person who mattered most, you. What you didn't need to forget is, discipline by itself will always fail you. Why? Because discipline built on force, and anything built on force eventually breaks. You cannot bully yourself into greatness. You can't shame yourself into consistency. You can't hate yourself into a life you love. Discipline without love turns you into your own enemy. You start fighting yourself instead of fighting for yourself. When the battle is against you, you will always lose. That is why people burn out. That is why people quit. That is why you will never feel enough, no matter how hard you push. Because discipline might change what you do for a season, but only love changes who you are for a lifetime. At the end of all, do not forget you cannot fake an identity that it's not yours. No matter what, we all have an identity, and faking an identity where it is not ours is the most horrible thing that we can do to ourselves. Learn to believe in yourself. Learn to accept the version that you are right now, but learn to change it with love. At that time, you won't live with a fake identity. Here's the secret nobody tells you. When you choose love, you stop forcing progress. You start creating transformation. Discipline says, endure the pain. But love says, give the pain meaning. Discipline says, don't stop. Love says, keep going because it matters to you. You didn't become your highest self by proving yourself. You become your highest self by returning to yourself. If you want to know how to love yourself, do not forget to watch this video. I wish you all the best and I will see you in the next video. Until next video, bye bye.